I've been suspended on Amazon, James has been suspended on Amazon, and this video right here is a must watch for anyone that is planning to sell on Amazon or that is already selling on Amazon. Because if you're not careful, you will get suspended on Amazon. So please learn from our mistakes and learn how to make sure that you do not get suspended when selling on Amazon. And we're gonna talk about all the different times we've gotten in trouble or suspended on Amazon and what we did to fix it. And at the end of this video, James is gonna share the one time that he got suspended from Amazon that ended up costing him over $100,000. So please pay attention and make sure to smash that like button, because this is James and I being extremely honest about a bunch of silly mistakes that we both have made. Let's start with the first way that you got suspended from Amazon and talk about all the details. And this is probably the most common way that people get suspended. You want to go into?
Yeah, okay. So we were young. We were all naive, trying to gain an advantage in any way that we can. But I'm sure all of you have thought about this at one point or another, is review manipulation. So I'm not saying it's not feasible to ask a couple friends here and there, or just people that you know that are really unaffiliated with you, to buy your product and leave reviews. But I happen to do that with the same group of friends on more than one occasion. Amazon ended up linking all those friends to my account and my products, actually removed all those products, suspended my account, and also prevented my buyer account from ever being able to leave reviews in the future. So I had to dig myself out of that hole.
And this is one of the most common ways that people get suspended. They ask friends or family to leave reviews. Now, sometimes you can get away with this, but never have someone leave a review that shares an internet connection with you. And also make sure you don't ask the same people over and over again to leave reviews on all your different products. For number two, I'll talk about a time that I actually got suspended on Amazon. And here's a little warning. Sometimes you get messages on Amazon saying your seller privileges have been removed, and sometimes they're completely meaningless. This has actually happened to me twice, where I got this message and I was like, oh my God, I was freaking out, but I noticed that my selling privileges were not actually removed, and it was just a mistake on Amazon's end. So don't always freak out. Just because you've been suspended on Amazon or that you get a message that's really negative doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Sometimes they send these messages by mistake. I talk more about this particular suspension in this video. I'll link up here. But for number three, let's talk about order defect rates being too high. So this is the third time, or one of the other times you've been suspended.
One of the many times I've been suspended. One of the many times. Okay. So about 4 years ago, I imported a bunch of product from a factory that I've been working with for a while. So it seems like I could trust the quality of this manufacturer. I made the mistake of not hiring an inspector to inspect all the boxes that were being shipped over. I had them shipped into Amazon. Lo and behold, when the customers received them, they were receiving the wrong product. This happened over and over and over again, and I ended up getting suspended for order defect rates.
And keep in mind, Amazon wants to keep the customers happy. They don't care if your business is on the line. They don't care if they completely blacklist you, suspend you, and you go from making hundreds of thousands of dollars to nothing overnight. They want to keep the end customer happy.
So make sure, guys, that you get your inspection every time. It doesn't matter how long you've had this working relationship with your factory. Just put it into your standard operating procedures and get that inspection. Ask them to send those photos, ask them to send videos, and keep yourself from being suspended.
Related to order defect rate, the other time that I got in trouble with Amazon and my entire listing was taken down, so it wasn't my entire Amazon account, but it was my listing was taken down, was I had someone return a product, just one person return a product and said that it was expired, because I sell a food product and they said that the food product had been expired. That was enough to trigger Amazon's system, completely take down my listing and make it so they had to take all my inventory and manually check it to see what products were expired and what products weren't. Again, I talk about it in a video I'll link up here, but if you are selling product that has a certain expiration date, be careful. Make sure you're not sending any product that could potentially expire. And what ended up happening for me is they found that 100 of my units were expired and they had to basically throw them out, which was really annoying because I think it was actually their fault, because when I sent in the product, I think what happened is I would send in more product and they would send out the new product that I sent rather than sending out the older product, meaning eventually there was some product that was sitting back in some corner somewhere that they just forgot to send out.
So the next reason why I got suspended, and again, this is at a time when I was young and I was naive, and I think a lot of us have been there, was I left a negative review for a competitor's products. And I did this not once, but I did this 3 times. Ultimately, Amazon figured out who it was and they suspended me for it.
And thank you for James for being honest, because You at home, learn from our mistakes. A lot of people have this idea of trying out different things to try to get an edge. And as James said, when he was a little bit younger and naive, he was trying anything to get that edge. And what I want you to do is leave a comment down below on different things you've thought about trying to do to get that edge that you ultimately maybe decided probably wasn't the best thing.
So have that self-control, it's definitely not worth it.
Another way you can get in trouble with Amazon is if you infringe on someone else's intellectual property, their trademarks, patents, things like that. And I know you've dealt a little bit with this. Talk about that.
Yeah, back when I was doing professional beauty supplies, there was a manufacturer who basically just didn't want their product being sold on Amazon. So the way they would do it is that they would report anyone selling their product on Amazon and claim that they were infringing on their intellectual property, whether that's using their photos or their content. And ultimately, I got suspended for that and I had to appeal my way out of it.
And keep in mind, Amazon wants nothing to do with this process. So if you say that, hey, that person's using my trademark, sometimes they're gonna ban that other account without asking a lot of questions. And this can be scary if it happens to you, although I don't think it's that common of an occurrence. As long as you're not trying to infringe on anyone's trademarks, not trying to infringe on anyone's patents, you'll probably be fine. But keep in mind that Amazon doesn't want any part of this.
Yeah, on Amazon, you're guilty until proven innocent.
And finally, the mistake that cost James well over $100,000, maybe a few $100,000. Let's talk about selling restricted products. And it wasn't his fault, actually.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys remember, but in 2016, hoverboard scooters were all the craze. We ended up importing about $200,000 worth of them. So 4 days into selling them, we thought we were making a ton of great money. And then a couple of bad news stories later, they were shut down and banned on all marketplaces. We're talking eBay, Amazon, Target, everywhere. So not only that, I got suspended from selling on Amazon, but then they suspended it for 13 weeks. And this was a huge Amazon account of mine, and I was doing hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in sales on this Amazon account. So 13 weeks of lost sales, plus the amount of money it cost me to recall all the products from Amazon. And the fact that it took about a year to get rid of all that dead inventory was a huge mistake, costing me over 100 grand.
So keep in mind, even though we've each gotten suspended, we've gotten product listing pages taken down, at the end of the day, we're both still selling on Amazon. We were able to appeal it. We were able to get our account back. And you want to talk about what's the process like? So you get suspended. How do you fix it?
Well, it's pretty simple. The first step is that Amazon wants to know that you understand how you violated their terms of service or their policies. So you need to explain exactly what went wrong and that you understand that. The second part of it is a plan of action, explaining to them what your solution is to prevent this from ever happening again. And you really only get one shot at this, so really take your time in drafting your appeal.
But it can be scary, this idea that Amazon can suspend you and they can take down your account, but it's really rare. It's not that rare that maybe they'd send you a message saying you're suspended or you get a little bit in trouble, but it's actually really rare that someone's entire account gets taken down.
Most of the times these days you get notice of like a restricted product or a policy violation notice, but to get to a full suspension is quite rare these days. So the moral of the story is, as tempting as it may be to try to gain an advantage, don't do anything gray hat, don't do anything black hat. The more white hat you are, the better you sleep at night, the better your business, the more longevity that you have.
And don't be afraid to start selling on Amazon. I know a lot of people have fear that Amazon might kick them off, might suspend them, but it's very uncommon for that to actually happen. And we did a video talking about James's first year trying out selling a new product on Amazon. Click right here to get that. He talks about how much it actually cost him to start. He talks about step by step how much he made year after year after year, and it's a really great story. So click on that video. We'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.